I get to introduce our guest speaker. I am honored. By any measure, Kit Holmes' musical gifts alone are extraordinary, but it is the sheer volume of her additional talents and creativity that explain the adulation she regularly receives from audiences, critics, clients, and peers for her keynotes, classes, coaching, and retreats. She's been sharing her gifts in New Thought communities around the United States since 2004. Reverend Kit is a licensed religious science minister through the Spiritual Living and a certified life mastery advisor who recently returned home to her native Michigan after 20 years stint in the Austin, Texas music scene. Music, events, and creative collaborations that bring joy, peace, and healing to the world are Kit's ministry. Don't miss her inspiring and often humorous One Mind Wednesdays on Facebook Live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern, noon Central Time. Kit is a recent breast cancer survivor who uses the experience as teaching tool for a healthy body, mind, and spirit. So let's give a warm welcome to Reverend Kit.
Everybody's got a story. Lord knows I've got mine. All our pain and all our glory, all the masks we hide behind. I'm standing here in wonder at my faith in things unseen, holding back or diving under. There is no in between. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Oh, return to love, return to love. Oh, return to love, return to love. I'm deconstructing my defenses, dismantling my pride, making peace and mending fences with who I am inside. When I let myself go deeper, love is closer than my breath. My master and my keeper are beating right here in my chest. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror, no matter where I am. When my heart is open and my mind is clear, I know I can. Oh, return to love, return to love. Oh, return to love, return to love. Everything's a lesson and everyone's a mirror. In everything I do, my heart is open and my mind is clear. Now I'm asking you to, oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. I hear you singing, so go for it. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Oh, return to love, return, return to love. Last line together. Return, return to love. And one more time. Return, return to love. Much. I want to make sure that I am unmuted. Yes, you can hear me. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Reverend Kid Holmes. This is my first time. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I just want to talk about it's all about peace today, but it was such a God thing, the way that this worked out. I am based in Michigan now, Northwest Michigan, and I was actually supposed to be at the Unity of Traverse City today. 3 weeks ago, it was on my schedule. But I was also coming down here because my niece is getting married in October, and her bridal shower was in Indianapolis yesterday. So the original plan was, I'm going to come down on Friday, I'm going to go to the shower Saturday, I'm going to drive all the way back to Michigan, I'm going to drive a little bit further north on Sunday morning to be back in Traverse City. Well, one of the speakers in rotation up in Traverse City about 3 weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, I don't remember now, said, can we switch? I had a double scheduling my day, whatever like that, and I said, sure. Opened right up. I was looking around, and I landed right there on Unity of Indianapolis, and I said, these look like my kind of people. Yeah. So I sent Michael a message, and he got right back to me, and he said, sure, that sounds great. And I'm like, so here I am. Thank you. Thank you. And how far can I move before I okay, yes. Just don't go outside, okay. So Return to Love is, yes, it was based on the book by Marianne Williamson. And the story about that song is that I found that book about 25 years ago. I was going through, at that time, a reinvention, as it were, in my life. I was not peaceful in my life. I didn't know what that was. It's kind of chaotic looking. And I had this really, really astute, amazing, brilliant therapist, which wasn't the case through most of my life. I had a lot of bad experiences. Maybe you have too. But this one had something, she just saw something in me. And after we had worked together for about a year or so, she had come back around and she said, do you have any kind of a spiritual practice? And being the good former Catholic that I was, the good girl was like, I got to answer immediately. I got to give her an answer. And she stopped me right then and she said, you do not have to answer me right now, but just think about it. And the next week I came back and I said, I don't. I mean, I never really formally, officially stomped my foot and said I'm leaving the church. It was a drifting away, especially after I came out to my family. So I went back the next week, and she handed me a reading list, and on the top of that reading list was Marianne Williamson's A Return to Love. And I saw my world kind of open up, like, what is happening here? There are people that think more like I do. I'm seeing possibility. I'm seeing the ability to reinvestigate my experience or my relationship with the divine. And so I did, and there were lots of other books on that list, and I gobbled them all up. So fast forward about 10 years later, I had found religious science or science of mind, Ernest Holmes, the founder of that, under the New Thought umbrella. At the time, I didn't know what unity was. I hadn't heard of it yet. But I had the experience of being able to meet Karen Drucker in 2007 at a conference of religious scientists in Austin, Texas that happened to be there, and I happened to get on the music team. I was invited to be on the music team. And that book came back around probably about 2010. And I looked at it and I said, you know how you do with books. You go back into it and it's like, I didn't see this before. I didn't know this was in here. How did I miss this? And it prompted me to go ahead and compose that song. And it really has, as songs do, as we evolve, as our consciousness evolves, and we evolve as spiritual beings, we find new ways and new parts of ourselves that we are able to say, wow, look where I've made progress. Look where I've grown. I didn't see it that way before. Now I'm seeing it new ways, with new eyes. And the beauty of that song that I love, especially about peace, and I have to tell you the second verse when I said, I'm deconstructing my defenses, dismantling my pride, making peace and mending fences with who I am inside. That was a God thing. I didn't sit there and construct that. I was in the flow. I was in the channel of that. What am I doing with my life at this point? I'm having to set down a whole lot of things that I believed. I'm still doing it all these years later. Just in the last couple of years with a lot of major life events, that a breast cancer diagnosis was like the last thing, and I just went, okay, so what else? I mean, literally there was that much just in the last couple of years going on, and my divorce and a lot of other things, and a big move and life changes, and then, oh, by the way, you have breast cancer. I can laugh about it now because I see with new eyes. I see from a place of having pulled away, working diligently at pulling away the beliefs that were not mine. The beliefs that were given to me out of good intention to keep me safe, to keep me protected, to be out in the world. But they were beliefs based solely on fear. So much fear and so much shame. Outward appearances were very, very, very important in my family to mask the chaos that was going on at home. I see lots of nodding heads. Yeah. Everybody's got a story. Lord knows I've got mine. All our pain and all our glory, all the masks we hide behind. That song for me just keeps getting richer and richer and richer as I continue to do this work of going deeper and deeper. And as you know, many of you know, you wouldn't be in unity if you weren't doing this work. I mean, something called you. That divine urge in you said there is something more to life. There is something more to me that keeps pulling us forward. You know that this work is not easy, and that's why most people don't do it. If it were easy, we would all be transcended and enlightened, and there wouldn't be any reason for us to be here on the planet. Right? But there is. The reason that we are here is to remind each other who we are. Everything is a lesson. Everyone is a mirror. One of my very, very great teachers and mentors, Mary Morrissey, has this beautiful line. If we look at the conditions of our lives, the conditions of our lives are the curriculum of our evolution. I'll say that again. If we look outward at conditions of our lives, our results are a product of our consciousness. Now I'm going to address the cancer thing, because what we tend to do, and we can do in New Thought especially, is we can do a lot of spiritual bypass, and we can go, you must have had that in your consciousness to get that. Well, somewhere the truth is, the consciousness was, I'm not worthy of being here. There's a deep belief that said, I'm not worthy. Even though I've been doing this work and keep doing this work and keep doing this work, it wasn't just a thought. It was environmental. It was conditional. It was a lifetime of believing in toxicity, of toxic thoughts, of bringing it into my body, not knowing that I was doing that, but primarily was not expressing emotions, stuffing those emotions that were considered bad: anger, sadness, frustration, happiness. Don't talk, don't trust, don't feel. I'm doing all now. It's messy. It's painful. I cry every day at least once. And it's good for me because I got that message. It was about a week after I got the diagnosis that said, this is all that toxicity. It just got trapped in your body. Even though you've been doing all this work all these years, it just got a little piece, it got stuck. So my idea was, when I had the surgery, the lumpectomy, was all of that toxicity and all of that stuff was going to go right into that tumor, and when it came out, I was going to be done. About a couple weeks later and more work that I was doing was, okay, so that was the toxicity. And then the big one came in and said, oh, here, that's what all this is. This is shame. And guess where it is? It's right close to your heart. In my body. Left side, right close to my heart. So again, it keeps revealing itself. It keeps teaching me. It keeps showing me. I get to see it in a new way. And I'm at a place in this point in my life where I'm actually finally beginning to believe that it is all about learning to love big, without apology. To love unapologetically, to love lavishly, to give it away, to open it. And guess what? That's scary. Is it not? We think that opening ourselves and being vulnerable is a weakness. It is not. If you are familiar at all with any of Brené Brown's work, you know the power of shame to practically destroy us. We gotta let it go. We gotta let it go. So what does all of this have to do with peace being a possibility in our lives? Everything. Everything. Because as long as we are not getting to that place inside of us that doesn't find that love, that doesn't find that connection that is never broken with our source, if we're not finding it, if we're not believing it, we're always going to be outwardly projecting that pain. That thing we hear all the time, that hurt people hurt people. Oh my goodness. And so our work is to go inside and go into the heart, breathe into that space, affirm as a mantra. I am a child of God. I am a child of the divine. I'm a unique, individualized expression of the one. I am one with the source of all supply. Whatever those things are that gets us to that point that we remember. And it's not a learning, it is a remembering who we are. That we are never, ever separate from that source. Ever. We are the ones that keep ourselves walled off from our good. That's a big, hard thing to admit when it gets you in the face that first time and you go, what, it's my fault? Yes, I've been keeping my good from me. I had defenses that I was taught. I had coping mechanisms. I had all of those things that did protect me and keep me safe for a time. But they do not serve anymore. It is my responsibility and my job as a unique, individualized expression of the one to use the gifts, to use all of those things to wipe away those defenses, those shields, those places of protection, because in the grander scheme of things, when I remember that I am connected to Source, I am protected. I am sourced. I am supplied. I don't have to be looking for it from somebody else or somewhere else or something else. And I don't have to be shutting myself off from it by numbing out or doing any other those things that say, well, that'll just keep me safe for a little while. But it's only for a little while. And you know that, and I know that. It only works. And then after a while, it doesn't work at all. So you are divine, my dear ones. Every single one of you in this place. And that is the remembering that who you came to be, who you are here to be, is love. The big capital L expression of God as love. It's who you are. It is who you are. It is who you have come here to be. I am grateful, absolutely grateful, that you are here this morning, that you're watching online, wherever you are and whatever you are doing. Those are the tools. Grateful every day, forgiveness every day, forgiveness of ourselves every day. That's the biggie. That one's the one that takes the most work. To let myself off the hook. And if you need the visual, that's what it is. I do that quite regularly, like picking myself up from the back of the collar, setting myself on the floor and saying, I love you. Forgiving ourselves for not quite getting there in being our expression as we were at the time, but that's the other thing. We knew what we knew at the time. We did what we could with what we had at the level of consciousness we were at any given point in our lives. So leaning into forgiveness, leaning into gratitude, and leaning into affirming that place that says, yeah, I'm here and I'm loved. And it's messy and it's scary. But Spirit, the universe, whatever you call it, God, the great one, the all of the all, it doesn't matter what name you give it. It doesn't care. It knows your intention. It knows your intention. And so claiming that, proclaiming that, embracing it, accepting it, embodying it for ourselves, that is our work. And when we do that, we do radiate it. We are the mirror to each other. So smile big. Smile at yourself in the morning. Say, hello, God. Oh, I know, everybody's like, ooh. I'm going to ask you to do that right now before I sing another song. I want you to hold your hand up in front and imagine this is your mirror and say, good morning, hello, God. Good morning, hello, God. Okay, so think about this. If you were really, really talking to the thing that created everything, that hung the planets and the stars and the moon and everything, would you just go, hey, let me hear you. Good morning. Hi, God. How are you? You're beautiful. I love you. And yes, you are. And I'm going to invite, there you are, right in front of me. We're going to do another song for you. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here today. Namaste. Love you. When we open our hearts and cast our love across the seas, we will share our light with the rising sun, and we'll know who we've come open our eyes and recognize the possibilities. We will share our minds, and when day is done, we will know we've come here to be. A light for justice, a light for hope, and peace like the world has never known. And love, oh love, is who we've come here to be. A light for freedom, a light for joy, and healing like the world has never known. And love, oh love, is who we've come here to be. Oh, love is who we've come here to be.
Speaking of grateful, would you like to hear another song from Kit? Yes.
There we go. 1, 2, 3. Every day I'm waking up grateful that I get another chance to say thank you. Every night taking the time to remind myself that I've got it so good. And I gotta say, it's so good to be grateful every day. The sun came up this morning and I could see it. Oh, that sweet sunshine. Heart still has a beat and I'm still breathing. So far, so good. Everything's turning out right every day. Waking up grateful that I get another chance to say thank you. Every night taking the time to remind myself that I've got it so good. I gotta say, it's so good to be grateful every day. When I recognize the things I take for granted, I see the magic in the mundane. I know that's where the greatest gifts are planted. So I say thank you again and again every day. Every day, waking up grateful that I get another chance to say thank you. Every night, taking the time to remind myself that I've got it so good. I gotta say, it's so good to be grateful every day. So grateful, yeah. Are y'all grateful? Yeah. I got the stars, I got the moon, I got love, and I got you every day. Yeah. Let me hear you say it. So grateful, so grateful. Yeah. One more time. So grateful. You're sounding really good.